Welcome to the MVP Rotation Builder instructions video. We're going to begin by starting off as if it's your first time opening the Rotation Builder. As you can see, oftentimes you will have a security risk stating that you are blocked from running macros. In order to alleviate this and to be able to run the macros, we're going to go into File, Options, into our Trust Center settings, and then in the Trust Center, we're going to go to Trusted Locations, and then we'll add a new location. I recommend when you download the Rotation Builder that you create a folder in your Documents folder that is only for storing the Rotation Builder and adding that location. I am storing it in my Downloads folder, so I am going to make the trusted location my Downloads folder. So I'll select Downloads, select OK, select OK again, and now as you can see, it's been added to the list. And then I'm going to hit OK on these options to clear out all of the boxes. And then typically after you've done this, you'll need to reopen this spreadsheet. Now let's move on to discussing filling out the Rotation Builder. So when you need to make changes, you will always do so in the Rotation Builder Home tab. Do not edit any zone names in any other tab on this spreadsheet, or it will break. It is very important that you only update zone names in this tab where it says enter zone name. If you do not have 20 zones, you are not required to use all of these. You will simply leave them with the enter zone name placeholder in them, and it will not populate any events. If you need to add more zones, you can use this Add New Zone button right here. All right, and we are back. That took about 30-ish seconds for me. And as you can see, we now have our new zone 21 down here at the bottom. Now let's discuss filling in your zone names. It is super duper important when you are filling in your zone names that you make sure that no other event on your calendar will have the same name as an event that this creates. This is to help prevent it from deleting anything from your calendar. So what I recommend and what I'm going to demonstrate for you is how I name my zones. So we'll start with zone 1 and we'll call it Baltimore zone. And then we have Annapolis zone. And then we have DC zone. And I do like to append all of mine with zone at the end, just to ensure that there is no possibility that it will have the same name as anything else on my calendar. Now, if we move over to the January tab of our Rotation Builder, you can see that the zone names have been populated based off of what was input in the Rotation Builder home. In order to properly fill out your travel plans to your various zones, you will go through and you will check the appropriate box for the day that you will be in that zone. And as you can see, I have populated all of my rotation data for the month of January. If we scroll down a little bit, you'll notice that the 20th, 21st, and 22nd are unchecked. But if we scroll down, we will see that I have checked the boxes for vacation day, and this is also reflected on my calendar here. But I did just want to have it marked out through the Rotation Builder, just so that there's a second reminder. You'll also notice that on the 7th, 8th, and 9th, I do have office day selected. And if we scroll up to the top, since my office is in Baltimore, you can see that I will also be in the Baltimore zone. This is just to let my scheduler know that yes, I am in the area if anything short and quick pops up that I need to be in person for, but I do plan to spend most of my day in the office. So, now that I have my month of January, ready to rumble. I'm going to go through and show you how you would get this onto your Outlook calendar. Now you can see I do have some previous appointments set up on here, and that is the reason that we append these zones with the zone name, because let's say hypothetically I had Baltimore right here already, just the words Baltimore. That would be overwritten if this said Baltimore, but because it says Baltimore zone, that ensures that you are only changing and updating things related to the rotation builder when you use the rotation builder. So let's head to our rotation builder home. And if we scroll down through the zone list, you will see two buttons, Outlook Export and ICS File Export. These are the two options available to you to export this data for your calendar. Now, if you are using Outlook, please make sure that your Outlook is opened on your computer in the application version. This will not work with the browser web version. Secondly, ensure that your account that you are signed into is the owner of the calendar that you wish to update. Once you've ensured those two things, all you need to do is come right here and click the Outlook Export button, and the sheet will lock up so that you cannot make any changes. You will know that it is finished when it displays to you the December tab at the bottom. So I'm going to click Outlook Export, and we will be right back. All right, I am back, and that took about 30 seconds also, and as you can see, it has put me onto the December tab from the rotation builder. So let's scooch over to Outlook and see what that looks like. And as you can see, it has taken all of the data from the rotation builder and placed it onto my calendar. Now we're going to scooch back over to the rotation builder home, and we're going to do that ICS file export. So this is an option that's available to you if you use something other than Outlook. So let's say that you're using Google Calendar, or you don't have access to the Outlook application and you're using Outlook on the web browser. This would be the option that you want. Now, do be aware that this comes with a caveat. When you export this ICS file and import it into your calendar, if you decide that you want to make changes, you will need to go about it a little bit differently, and I'll cover that at the end. But for now, let's go over how to export this ICS file. So we're going to click on this button. It is going to generate the file, and it is going to ask me where I want to save this. I am going to name it MVP Rotation Builder 2025 Export, and I'm just going to save it in my downloads folder, but you can save it wherever is most comfortable for you. So now that that is saved, you can tell because it has shunted me over to the December tab. So now let's go through exporting this into Outlook. As you can see, I went ahead and I cleared my calendar so that we would be able to see that it actually imports all of the events. So in order to do that, we are going to go into File. We are going to go to Open and Export. We are going to go to Import Export. And you can see that I now have the Import and Export wizard. We are going to select to import an iCalendar.ics or vCalendarFile.vcs file. Then we're going to click Next on the wizard. And it's going to go, hey, where is this ICS file? So I'm going to go into my Downloads folder. I'm going to grab this. I'm going to click OK. And it's going to ask you, do you want to open this calendar as a new calendar or import it as items into your calendar? You are always going to select import. And bada bing, bada boom, our calendar is populated. So lastly, I want to go over how to make changes to your calendar if something should shift in your plans. So let's say hypothetically that I wanted to change my office days in Baltimore on the 7th, 8th, and 9th to actually be in DC and no longer office days. If you are using the Outlook export button on the rotation builder home, all you need to do is I've just done, change these check boxes. and I will clear off my office day. So just to be clear, before I click export, you can see that 789 is both Baltimore and office day. If we go back to the Rotation Builder home and just do another Outlook export, you will see that it updates. I'll be back as soon as it's finished. All right, we are back, and that took again about 30 seconds, and we have been shunted back to the December tab of the Rotation Builder. And now I'm going to go check my Outlook calendar, and as you can see, the 7th, 8th, and 9th now is just a DC zone with no office day. So that is how you would go about updating things if you are using the Outlook export button. Now, if you are using the ICS file export, it is a bit more complicated. I recommend to everyone, if you need to make a change, what you are going to do is you are going to clear the entire rotation builder. So I will be back once that is completed. All right, I am back, and I have cleared all of the checkboxes on my rotation builder. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go find what I want to change. So let's say I wanted to change this DC zone back to Baltimore and an office day. Firstly, I'm going to identify the dates, so it's the 7th, 8th, and 9th. On my rotation builder, I'm going to select 7, 8, 9 for Baltimore, and then I'm going to scroll down and ensure those same boxes are checked for office day. Then I'm going to head back over to my calendar. I'm going to delete this DC zone event. I'm going to go back to the Rotation Builder home, and I'm going to do another ICS file export. And we are just going to name this one plain old calendar events and save it. Then I'm going to go back in, and we're going to follow the import export wizard. We're going to import an ICS file. We are going to import the one named calendar events, and we are going to import it. And there you go. Now it is updated. And with that, we are finished with our instructional video for our rotation builder. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out and someone will assist you. Thank you.